I cannot overestimate how important it was for me in regards to my learning by Gourmet magazines. Gourmet magazines gave me the plane ticket in many ways, because I couldn't afford to go to Los Angeles and New York and Chicago and San Francisco when I was a young cook. It was many years later. I started buying Gourmet magazines probably around 1978, and I would sit in the backyard before work and underline passages or highlighter them and try to understand what the people, the chefs and the managers and the sommeliers in those restaurants, what they were doing. It was a huge part of my learning. I got a job in Jupiter, Florida in 1984 in a hotel that was owned by Marshall Field, and the restaurant was run by a man who became my friend, Gordon Sinclair. It was a big restaurant, yes, and a big hotel on the ocean in Jupiter, the Jupiter Beach Hilton, it was called at the time. And I don't know what caused me to be in the boiler room of the hotel one day, but I went down there for some reason or another, and magically this book was sitting on a shelf by no other cookbooks was there. I don't know why, but I picked it up and realized it had probably been there for years. And then I saw that somebody had signed this book to someone else in Christmas, I think, of 1966. So it had been languishing for almost 20 years somewhere with no one to appreciate the book or learn from the book. And so I took it upon myself to be that person. And through the work of this book, I certainly picked up a lot of the things that one would learn from the classic cuisine of the time. Eggs in aspic, Jeanette, petite marmite, a proper mussel bisque, poached eggs diable, stuffed Savoy cabbage, smoked turkey aspic, chocolate buttercream. Some of these things are still valuable today, and they should not be tossed aside for only the new things. I would just pour through this thing and make notes in a notebook on the side. And then, again, I was teaching myself. I had never been to cooking school, and so I needed to know what the classics were all about. Looking back at these photos now, they would not excite me, but I kind of appreciate them in a kind of more whimsical way. I don't know if you could even find this book online. Well, just about can find everything online. Volume 1, the Gourmet Cookbook. I actually have another Gourmet Cookbook that was edited by the great Ruth Reichel, who I did a television show with about the cuisine of Brazil once upon a time in Miami. But it's always important to remember what the roots of our learning are, and to revere them, and to sometimes just go back and see, oh, vol au vent. If you've seen the movie The Taste of Things, the great French movie that just came out this year with English subtitles starring Juliette Binoche and her ex-husband. Fantastic movie for food. Just the most beautiful food I've probably seen in any movie at any point in time. And a very good plot that goes with it, with some really precocious young ladies that are learning how to cook as well. And there is a vol au vent in that movie, which is amazing. Gosh, I have to go see that movie again. Like many of my treasure books, I just before we started taping, I realized there was something in this one, and this is from a newspaper or a magazine that I haven't seen this thing in years, and I'll let you translate, those of you that are Spanish readers and speakers. But this was written by a gentleman by the name of Luis Zalamea, who became a mentor to me while I was writing the book New World Kitchen. Mr. Zalamea was an astonishing intellect, a very gracious person. He was so giving of his time. even truthfully telling me when I was writing that book that I needed to really get going when it came to Latin America, because I'd really only begun to cover the Caribbean as in the first, let's say, drafts of the book. But Mr. Zalamea was a person that I trusted, and that's the book I'm talking about right there. That's the cover of the book, New World Kitchen. Yes. Gosh, I keep things like this in my books because not only do I want to treasure the books, I want to treasure memories like this noble man that I miss, but I hope to see him upstairs someday. I called him Mr. Z, and so Mr. Z, so glad to have you here within the covers of the Gourmet Cookbook Volume 1. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. It's a keeper.